Hello, I'm David with Arizona MMC, bringing you the August video edition of the Arizona Medical Marijuana Update. I'm here at the Scottsdale Air Park today, which the airport itself is the second busiest single runway airport in the country. Over 450 aircraft are here, mostly in this day and age corporate jets and personal aircraft. There's also $182 million of revenue that comes in yearly from the airport itself usage. The air park became more popular back in the 1960s when the city took over the airport. It used to be a World War II pilot training facility, and they took it over and bought thousands of acres around the airport, and it's now home to over 2,500 small to medium-sized businesses and 25 to 30 national and regional businesses, and those combined bring in over $3 billion to the Scottsdale revenue impact each year. So it's a nice little slice of real estate up here in many respects. The topic for today is multiple in this update. First off, let me just make sure you understand, patients can still get their medical marijuana cards. If they have a qualifying condition and they desire to get a medical marijuana card, Arizona MMC is doing those. The Department of Health Services for the state is processing those applications, and to date have given out about 9,000 ID cards. That part of the law took effect and has been in place since April. It's doing just fine. What is not doing fine, however, is the dispensary part of the program. That was supposed to be where the applications were coming in June, and there was going to be a selection process for the various areas around the state, and so on and so forth. Didn't happen. Various U.S. Attorney General's offices sent letters to multiple states around the country that had legal medical marijuana, saying that patients are okay, that hasn't changed. If they're abiding by state law, we don't care. That's what the Fed said. What they changed in their approach was two things. One is a theoretical prosecutorial stance toward the state employees processing the dispensary applications. They actually said that in some of their letters. Not the one to Arizona, but they did to Washington. And for that reason, the governor, for a while, vetoed the dispensary bill that was passed by their House and Senate, and that's actually now back into play, is going forward with their program. But here, there was also questions in the memo about, okay, we are potentially going to go after large businesses that manufacture and sell marijuana. What's the definition of a large business? Is that a large-scale marijuana dispensary that's growing a lot in the back because they have a license to grow and they're selling to other dispensaries, which is legal in compliance with state law, but the feds might might come in and raid that? That was part of the question and probably still will be going forward. So who knows? Obviously a drug cartel or a big-time drug dealer, they're operating off the grid for both federal and state law. They should go to jail, but we're talking about in compliance with state law. So Jan Brewer said, I'm not happy with this, and she sued the feds. And they didn't take any applications for the dispensaries, which was supposed to start in June. The first set of Scottsdale doctors and their attorney came in. They were going to apply for a dispensary. They got turned away. So they haven't taken any applications. So the last week, the feds filed a motion to dismiss Arizona's lawsuit based off of lack of merit. They said that nothing in the memo to Arizona mentioned anything about state employees, and it didn't. And their stance has not changed from 2009 to now with regards to federal law. So that hasn't been acted on yet, but they're not the only ones who filed to dismiss. There were multiple potentially dispensary owners here in the state that filed a motion, and the ACLU filed a motion as well. So we'll have to see how that pans out. Next update, hopefully I have some more information. But here's something very interesting that's going on now in the state, is something called compassion clubs, okay? So it's not a dispensary. They're not really a caregiver. They're not supposedly selling marijuana. But here's how it supposedly works, okay, is you get a medical marijuana ID card. You can then pay a fee to become a member of a compassion club. And what that club then does is they provide education, to the patient, as well as a membership of caregivers and other patients with which to share marijuana. Okay? So they're not really supposedly selling it or dispensing it, but they're sharing it. Okay? So they say that they're perfectly legal with their stance. They've actually publicly come out and invited the Attorney General's office and law enforcement into these clubs. I'm not advocating yes or no. I'm not an attorney and I don't know enough about it. I'm just saying that they've done this, and the Attorney General has now actually started to take a very close look at these compassion clubs as to whether or not they do fall outside the state laws and statutes that have been put forward for medical marijuana. So that is very recent. It's only happened in the last few days. So we'll see how that pans out. I'll give you the update in the next edition. Arizona MMC has licensed compassionate doctors doing medical marijuana certifications. Not just certifications, but the office does all of the online state application stuff for patients, taking their picture, scanning in documents, helping you through the whole application process. It can be confusing because it's all online, and our office does it all. Check us out on the web at arizonammc.com. There's lots on our blog, plenty of information. I'm David with Arizona MMC. Have a great